So here's a room, brand new, and this portion is darker. There also, the rest of them is brighter. That's because I used a liquid, Amorsa in Romanian. It's a liquid, it smells like a paint, almost zero viscosity. I pour it out there, and with this roller thing I apply it onto the wall. So this is basically closing the pores, the tiny gaps inside the wall. So this is a brand new wall. There was no paint added ever onto it. And that layer is closing those tiny gaps, pores inside the materials, so that you don't have to add too much paint. That's not the paint, that's the liquid which is applied before the paint. That liquid is closing the pores so that you don't have to apply too many layers of paint onto your wall. How to use it? This is a 5-liter container. Put out some liquid there. Okay, this sponge-like textile material will soak it up. So you have to introduce this one. This is extendable, by the way. You have to introduce it there. Notice it's not rolling because the lower portion already absorbed the liquid, and that's heavier and it's not moving. So I have to roll it into the liquid. The liquid starts to disappear, and then you have to pull it down to remove the excess liquid from this roller. Then apply it onto the wall. Now you have to move it up in the beginning, because otherwise the liquid will go down to the ground. Let me show you that one. Do you hear that? Liquid is going down. So if you pull it up, then the liquid stays there in front of that roller and it's pushing it to the wall. If you pull it down, as I just accidentally did, then it goes down. So in the beginning, always move it up, and then when the roller is almost emptied by the liquid, then move it in any direction that you want. Move it up, like so. We still have liquid, but notice it's on the wall. It did not went down. At the corners it's trickier. The wall is getting darker. It's absorbing that liquid. Later you can move it in any direction. You have to apply this onto all of your walls, even the ceiling. That's it. Move it with one hand and hold the other end with your other hand. Now the liquid is not coming off of that roller, and I can push it to the wall easier. It's hard to insert it into the corner, so the corner is not covered by this tool because of its circular nature, shape, and repeat it. Soak it into the liquid. It's barely moving. Come on. Then move it forward to push the liquid into that container, because otherwise it will go. Okay, it's empty, but otherwise it will go down and gravity will pull it back. So from the bottom up until you empty that roller from the liquid, it's already going down the liquid. Cover the portion, not to leave gaps, and then move it in all directions. Now it's pretty dry. There to your walls. The liquid, which is applied before the paint to close all the small pores, gaps on the wall. On this recipient it was mentioned not to dilute it, but at the store they mentioned to dilute it with 3 parts water and 1 part this liquid. But on this bottle it was written differently, and I already used half of it, and I finished around half of this room except the ceiling, so it is used up pretty quickly. By the way, this tool is extendable. You have to rotate it and it can be extended. Now it's way too long. This room is much smaller. I placed it down and now there's some dirt on the roller also. Bad move. The head is also removable, so if I push down those 2 buttons, I can use it in one hand. Of course, now I will not reach too far. So from down, up, I can't reach too high. So the extendable rod is very useful. How to access the wall behind this gas pipe? Well, a brush, I guess. Okay, let's use the rod. It's much easier with that one. Just align it and it clicks into place. And make it somewhat shorter. Let's say that much. So you just twist it to the left and it's loosened. Twist them to the right and they are tightened. Hold one and rotate the other. Hold this one, rotate the right one. And repeat. Notice you can move it and it can get out from the container. We already have some particles there. If you are starting with the ceiling, then don't apply any force onto this roller, don't push it to the ceiling, plus squeeze it out well, because otherwise the liquid will fall onto your head. So on the ceiling it doesn't matter if you're pulling it to the left or to the right, liquid will come off, so don't push it to the ceiling. Let it dry first by transferring that liquid onto the ceiling and then push it to the ceiling. Cover your windows with some nylon. There is a layer on the outside but not on the inside, because otherwise they will get dirty when the roller gets close to it. The metal portion of the roller is keeping the distance from the ground. Also scratching the ground. When you are working at tight places, let's say here at this door, then you have to remove the rod itself, because otherwise it will hit the wall. Drops. Try not to touch the metal side to the wall, because this is aluminium, I think, and aluminium draws lines. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a line. There is a horizontal line there. Don't put it in contact with the wall on the right side. For now there is only concrete on the ground, but of course if you have some laminated floor, then cover that one also with nylon or cardboard, because otherwise you will paint all of your floor. And all of the liquid is gone. And this room is not quite finished, so there is no liquid anymore. Let's say the ceiling is 90% finished. This area has less, other parts have more. So 5 liters is the minimum for adding this liquid onto your walls. By the way, the size of this room is roughly 4 meters by 5 meters. By the way, this roller is held by nothing, only some friction. You can remove it, no screw, nothing, just a little bit of friction. Interesting.